Hi guys, just before we start, I wanted to let you guys know that I'm doing a special on my Patreon right now where I am sending people handwritten letters. If you're interested in that, all the letters are different and have different doodles and drawings in them. Specifically right now, I'm sending out these hand-drawn art pieces, and they're basically, there's only one of them. There's just this one. There aren't any copies. So if you get this one's yours, and that's it. I signed the back for everybody. If that's something that you're interested in, you can just head over to my Patreon and send me an address you're comfortable sending. I promise I will not mail you anthrax. If you're not a patron, you can head over, and it's just $1 a month to contribute to the channel. So I hope you guys enjoy that, and yeah, let's get started. Hi everyone. I have been so stressed lately, and I think a lot of other people are too. I've been so anxious due to the political, environment of the time and the Trump administration and everything that's happening. It's a very difficult time to be a politically engaged person, and so I went to my counselor, and which, by the way, if you don't have a counselor or a therapist, I highly recommend that you get one. I think everyone should get mental health help. So I went to my counselor and I said, holy shit, I'm experiencing anxiety on a level I haven't experienced in years due to the Trump administration. And she said, can I tell you, you are the 5th person to come in this week and saying that. She went on to tell me that the mental health community of professionals is seeing a spike in mental health crises in America that's unprecedented. A lot of people who are not familiar know that, we had 8 years of Obama, and then before then we had Bush, and I guess he was bad. But George W. Bush was horrible. He was a horrible president who did horrible things to Americans and to other people in the world. Yet, what is happening with the Trump administration is hitting people at a completely different level that is truly unprecedented for their field. I've been attempting to follow all of these different news outlets, a variety of sources, and watching things unfold. And what I'm hearing from other people and what I'm experiencing very strongly is that you want to be informed, and you feel as an adult and as an American this strong sense of responsibility to be informed. You have a responsibility to engage with what's going on and to know, and you don't want to shut it out. But there's just so much of it, and it's so bad. Every day you wake up and there's some new fresh hell to deal with, and it's overwhelming that you have to get some relief sometimes. So that's been hard. I have been dealing with a lot of my physical symptoms of my stress problems that I have not really experienced in a long time. I've always experienced them to a certain degree, but it hasn't been this bad in a really long time. So what do I mean by physical symptoms? Well, when people talk about when people talk about stress and anxiety, they usually think of the inner world, right? Your head and in your mind. Number one for me is my eye twitch is back, which is so infuriating. I'm very self-conscious about my eye twitch because I feel it makes me look like I'm like a cartoon person who's gotten crazy, that quivering eye. And everybody tells me that they can't see it, so it makes me feel better, but I can see it if I look in the mirror, which makes me It's very distracting because your eyelids twitching and you're just like, oh my god. Another thing is breathing, which is so it's so basic, but when you are really anxious, you can often take really shallow breaths, and you can stop breathing. And especially if you're talking a lot, you're and you're not breathing deeply enough, and that can cause you to get into even a more hyper state of hypervigilance, is the shallow breathing. There's the normal stuff like muscle tension. My back and my shoulders are a wreck right now. Another one that I experience is muscle weakness in my hands. And this is something that really tripped me up when I first was trying to go to the doctor to figure out what was wrong. I thought I had been drawing too much because I'm an artist. But what was happening is at night, I was clenching my fists like this. When I would wake up in the morning, my hands were like exhausted and I would just drop things out of the blue. And it turned out that when I actually forced myself to usually like flatten something between my hands and forced them to flatten out, that helped. So what do you do, right? Well, number one, obviously, I hope that you would see a mental health professional. But what if you're doing that and you need like more than that? You know, you can go to a doctor and they can give you a benzodiazepine, right? But you really, if you can help it, you don't want to take those every day. They can give you benzos like, Xanax. I have a prescription for Xanax. What I do is I use it in emergencies. So for full-blown panic attacks where, the last resort, right? When nothing else has helped, shit has gotten real, you break out the Xanax, because Xanax is a really heavy-duty medication. It's very highly addictive, and it's also one of those medications, the more you use it, the more, or the less it does, and then you need more. And so it's rough like that. You really don't want to get hooked on something like Xanax. So what do you do, like day-to-day living? Well, I have a couple things here that I want to show you. Number one is this brand, and not a sponsor, of course, but Natural Vitality brand. This is a magnesium calcium drink, and magnesium is where it's at. That's what you want. This is basically a magnesium drink where it's at, because what it does is it causes your muscles to relax. It basically, your muscles will get tensed by, day-to-day stuff and stress and working out and things like that. But without enough magnesium, your muscles cannot actually physically release. So when you drink this, you put like a few tablespoons in a cup of hot water. It tastes sort of like Theraflu, which is like, not to say the most delicious thing in the world, but it's fine. You will see that it starts to finally, your body will just go like that. This is really great before bed. So I highly recommend that stuff. The only problem with this is that it is kind of expensive. It's this whole thing was about $22, and that was on sale. But sometimes you can get like little sample packets and stuff, and it's really good. The other thing that I found a long time ago, and I've used for a long time, off and on when I could afford it, is L-theanine. L-theanine does not seem to be as popular as the sort of things like, oh, just have some chamomile tea. And I'm like, girl, I'm so fucking beyond chamomile tea. Don't tell me about your chamomile tea anymore. L-theanine is a supplement that, again, just helps with reducing the effects of stress and anxiety on your body. It's really great like that. It does something with neurotransmitters, which I'm sure you can look up by yourself. And this specifically also has GABA in it, which is gamma aminobutyric acid, which is, again, helps with stress and anxiety in your physical body, as well as it's got holy basil leaf extract. I'm sure that does something positive. I don't care. I've used L-theanine for a really, really long time, and I found it to be effective, like scientific method tested and Maggie approved. Like it worked for me. The big thing about L-theanine, which I appreciate, is that it does relieve those symptoms, but it doesn't make you drowsy. And that's the big one, because you can take like melatonin to knock you out at night, or Unisom, or some Benadryl, or some other thing that's going to make you feel all wonky and you can't do anything during the day. This you can have during the day and it's okay. You're not going to fall asleep at your desk. You can get it in a powder, and my personal favorite, if you can find it, you can get it in a chewing gum. I like that one the best, but it's hard to find, and it can be, again, kind of expensive. This is 30 tablets, so you take 2 at a time, and so that's about a 2-week window. So it's about $10 every 2 weeks, which is about $20 a month. So if you can afford it, I really highly recommend it if you're needing something during the day. You don't want to just like dope up on Xanax. Or I know a lot of people drink to reduce anxiety. I don't recommend that personally, but you do what you want. I'm doing a lot of other things. I have a new guided meditation app on my phone, but I haven't tested it out yet, so I don't want to recommend anything without, getting the scoop first and things like that. So I'm gonna try that out and see how it goes. I hope these supplements are available to you, and I hope that they help you. You can find them on Amazon, and if you need a link or something, just message me and I'll link it to you. So I hope that was cool for you. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye.